Presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus. Drive home in a brand new 2021 Hyundai Palisade equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain limited warranty. Call 477-7807 or visit carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant. Always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Now on Primetime, today marked the first airline service to Taiwan since the pandemic started. The flight's primarily to carry Guam passengers who are traveling for medical purposes. Plus, public health continues with administering the COVID vaccine this week and is getting assistance from public-private partners. And the island's small businesses were hit hard as a result of the pandemic, but more federal assistance is on the way.
Half a day and good evening, I'm Adriana Cotero. Packed bags and passports in hand, about 50 passengers boarded a China Airlines flight to Taiwan. As the Taiwan Economic and Cultural Office held a send-off ceremony for medical patients and stranded Taiwan citizens. Here's more.
With the coronavirus pandemic making travel virtually impossible for the better part of 2020, many seeking off-island medical treatment were left with no choice but to wait it out. In efforts to assist those who've been unable to travel for medical treatment due to the pandemic, the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office has partnered with China Airlines in coordination with the government of Guam to take part in a joint humanitarian and medical mission, which would charter a flight of about 50 passengers to Taiwan by way of China Airlines.
We know all too well that medical emergencies don't stop during global pandemics. And this charter flight is helping our people get the care they need, get the care they deserve.
As KUAM recently reported, Guam's first bariatric surgery carried out by Dr. Christian Eusebio was a process years in the making. Medical passenger Leticia Leon Guerrero planned to seek out the procedure since last year, but due to travel restrictions was unable to get the medical care she needed. To Leticia, this trip was more than just an opportunity to receive the necessary treatment, but an answered prayer.
I will be going back for bariatric surgery. It's very much needed for me to be healthier, and I can't wait to begin that journey. It's a beautiful word. I mean, so many words are beautiful, and humanitarian is one of them, but the action of seeing it taking place right now, helping those who need medical care, and then getting people back home because of everything that's happened in the pandemic. And I'm overwhelmed and really, really thankful and grateful, and I'll always remember I'm very blessed.
The charter flight didn't only cater to those seeking medical assistance. As layoffs and furloughs swept through many of the island's businesses, several Taiwan citizens who come to the island for work opportunities were left stranded without a job or family. TECO Director General Paul Chen says this charter flight is only the first of many.
When direct flight between Taiwan and Guam was expanded last year, there were about 100 Taiwanese citizens stranded in Guam and Saipan, while some returned to Taiwan on their own. Dozens of people remained unable to leave. They will also return to Taiwan on today's flight. Taiwan can help. Taiwan is helping. We believe this first charter flight will not be the last. This is the only beginning.
Guam International Airport Authority Executive Manager John Kanata says he anticipates more patients will be making their way to Taiwan.
Instead of just going to Philippines for medical treatment or medical procedures and stuff, Taiwan has really stepped up. This is the first China airline flights that's coming and going back to Taiwan. So this is perfect for folks that have been waiting to get medical procedures done or surgeries or any treatment that they're the first ones to go on this flight, so they can continue on, hopefully get them healthy and to come back to Guam. There's going to be the next flight that's going to be coming very soon. And this hopefully will continue, possibly if not once a week, at least once a month.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Guam Airport and federal authorities are investigating an apparent breach of the airport tarmac. GIAA Executive Manager John Kenyatta says the incident occurred about 10:30 yesterday morning.
We had an individual by the name of J. John Cruz, 42-year-old. He was able to scale the fence and able to get to one of the aircrafts that were being prepped to take passengers out. So our ground agents were able to detect him and was able to call police right away, and we were able to apprehend him.
It's not clear why the man attempted to reach the plane, although Kenyatta says he apparently suffers from a mental illness. As part of its security protocol, the airport conducted a full sweep of the area. The suspect was charged with criminal trespass, and the case has been turned over to TSA and the FBI for further investigation. Public Health is ramping up vaccinations this week with more than 10,000 island residents already part of the vaccination. The agency is enlisting public-private partners to administer the shot. Tyler Matanani reports.
With vaccination clinics scheduled for Ugudu High for Tuesday and Wednesday, starting this week through Public Health's partnership with HSP, they will be hitting the streets. DPHSS Chief Medical Officer Dr. Felix Cabrera says although the shots are for homebound residents, it should also be for their caregivers, but they are not currently on the priority list for vaccinations.
In my opinion, if somebody's homebound and that primary caregiver, they're essentially a healthcare worker.
As of Sunday, a total of 10,014 people have been vaccinated, with hundreds who signed up to be vaccinated at the Southern Regional Community Health Center in Inarajan. Mayor Tony Chargaloff.
The one thing I think I would incorporate is that if you showed up and assumingly we've capped off at 250 and you now being the next vehicle, I think what we'll do just to kind of create a level of comfort that they do not have to go through the waiting period again is that after we reach 250, then the next vehicle would issue out, you're now vehicle number 1 for the next day, vehicle number 2 for the next day, and what have you. So as you show up, you just start parking in the order that that we assigned you to. And I think it creates a little bit of fairness.
Chargaloff says a vaccination clinic is scheduled for the Inarajan Health Center this Thursday and Friday. More information is expected to be released by Public Health via a press release. Meanwhile, as for Ugudu High School, vaccination clinics are scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday beginning at 8 o'clock in the morning. All the clinics are still for the priority group 1C or those 60 years and older. You must not have had COVID or any other vaccine in the past 2 weeks or are currently infected with coronavirus. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
Also starting today, all 3 AMC private clinics will be administering the Moderna vaccine. Dr. Hao Wen says they'll start with administering immunizations to their Medicare patients as well as Phase 1C.
We have scheduled around 60 to 70, and on top of that, on the other chronic care management, we have 60 plus, so we plan to give around 200 today to the clinic, and we're going to do that every day for the rest of this week and next week.
He says AMC will be receiving about 200 doses of the Moderna vaccine from Public Health. In addition, other medical clinics, including FHP and SDA, will be involved in administering COVID vaccinations. FHP and SDA staff and nurses are undergoing training on the proper handling and storage of the vaccine. Nurses will be allowed to administer it once they receive their online certifications. And to allow clinics to prioritize certain groups and lessen patient wait time, a digital platform will be put in place in the upcoming days to allow them to book an appointment online.
So that way they come in, they have an appointment already. They don't have to wait less than 5 minutes to register when they get in here, and then we get the vaccine, so they'll be in and out. So I would ask people to wait at least till Wednesday or Thursday. But right now, from now until Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to give the vaccine out to the patient that have the current appointment with the clinic.
Dr. Wen also emphasized that the COVID vaccine is absolutely free to everyone on Guam and that no clinics will be charging anyone. Dr. Felix Cabrera broke down his new role as Public Health's Chief Medical Officer on the link this morning. As we first reported, he inked a 2-year contract with the government with an annual salary of $268,000. He is eligible for all GovGuam benefits. Dr. Cabrera is part of the Governor's Physicians Advisory Group and responsible for coming up with the CAR score. He will be taking on the responsibilities of overseeing all of Public Health's community health centers, as well as other responsibilities.
Overall, I'm extremely excited, to start this new chapter in my career as well. I think it's been, I think a lot of what I've done over the past almost 10 years here on Guam, I think has really, gotten me to where I'm at this point where it makes sense that I take on this new role and really try and connect the dots, I think, in a lot of ways. I think I only have really one agenda. My one agenda is to improve population health on Guam. And so it's as a whole. And so that's, I think, priority number one.
Dr. Cabrera appears to be the first chief medical officer hired by public health. After facing overwhelming surges in COVID cases, flying in doctors and nurses to help in critical areas, resorting to treating patients in tents and gift shops, the Guam Memorial Hospital finally gets a little bit of breathing room. As GMH's William Kando says, we've managed to stabilize the number of COVID hospitalizations below 10. Here's more.
The good news is the COVID remains low and stable. It's definitely because, obviously the Guam has kept the CAR score low at 1.3. And so, the people of Guam, they've done their part.
And while the COVID census has been holding steady below 10, GMH's William Kando says the non-COVID census has seen a slight uptick.
Total non-COVID census is 112. So our non-COVID census continues to creep up a little as the weeks go by. It's fluctuating, but that's something that we don't mind creeping up a little higher as the non-COVID census.
Kando says we're seeing a rise in the non-COVID census due to the return of patients who've been put on hold.
Sometimes it's people that had postponed treatment for a long time, and they're finally, able to come in, and we're able to help them resolve their issues. Even on the elective surgery side, we have increased our surgeries a bit, and we're trying to open that up a little.
With lower COVID hospitalizations, the hospitals made some changes to ensure they're making the most of what they have, as well as offer some much-needed time off for the frontliners who've been at it since day one.
As the non-COVID census goes up, they get repositioned to those areas. They're also helping out with our vaccine plan implementation. Those opportunities that we get to put them on leave as well, we're putting them on leave, so that they can get rejuvenated.
In efforts to ease some of the pressure off of public health, Kando says not only have they been vaccinating their staff, but also some members of their family.
When public health asked our help to do 75 and above, we focused on our family members that were 75 and above. And then it was family members 60 and above.
According to Kando, employees of the hospital authority who are awaiting their second dose of the vaccine will be receiving it this week, and from that point, GMH will be focused on aiding public health to vaccinate the next priority group of frontline workers. For Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
More federal assistance is on the way for small businesses who are hit hard by the pandemic. The Paycheck Protection Program will reopen tomorrow with another $284 billion available for employee retention and certain other business expenses. Ken Lujan, branch manager of the SBA office in Guam.
It does provide some sort of aid again back to the community that it was desperately needed. The business community were yelling and screaming and asking for additional relief, and that's where Congress got together and they provided this relief act that would allow for more opportunities for businesses to start getting to.
The Paycheck Protection Program provides businesses with money to keep employees on the payroll. The new round expands eligibility to even media companies, for example, and existing borrowers are also eligible for a second draw. Lujan hopes more hotels, restaurants, and bars take advantage.
So we're looking at targeting those particular industries because those are the singular industries that have been adversely affected by the pandemic.
The PPP will run through March 31st, while the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program was extended through December 31st. Lujan says more than 2,800 businesses in Guam received nearly $85 million in the first round of the EIDL. SBA Administrator Jovi Carranza in a news release said a number of changes were made to adapt to the needs of small business owners.
The legislation just came out over the weekend. A lot of the guidelines are still flowing through, so we're going to have to kind of sort through these guidelines and try to see, kind of make heads or tails as to which, what would be beneficial to the island, what would be beneficial to small businesses out there.
The new guidance is also posted on the SBA website. Again, online applications go live January 12th. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Another firefighter with the Guam Fire Department has tested positive for COVID-19. According to GFD, the firefighter is assigned to the Narahan Fire Station but was temporarily reassigned to a Stimbo Fire Station. The individual started to feel ill at work on Friday and was immediately secured from duty and is currently in isolation. Until testing is completed on personnel at both stations, specifically 5 from Narahan and 4 from Stimbo, cohort quarantining is in effect. Emergency operations will continue with adjustments made in scheduling for the firefighters assigned. GFD adds that a thorough decontamination of both stations was conducted. To date, a total of 13 GFD personnel have tested positive for the coronavirus since March. And stick around for more news here on Prime Time. You're watching KUAM.
It's the brand new chicken dance song. Get down, heat it up like a sauna. Spin around one time if you want.
New chicken dance? New chicken sandwich. My juicy, thickest filet yet. My cluck sandwich combos. Only at Jack in the Box.
While we've all been through a lot over the years, typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19, we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years.
Travelers Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangagihem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
So long, nacho fries.
Whenever Taco Bell takes them off the menu, he can't escape the cravings.
Nacho fries. Escape your cravings with our Nacho Fries box. Run to Taco Bell.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
House Democrats are preparing for impeachment proceedings that could make President Trump the first U.S. president to be impeached twice. In a letter to colleagues Sunday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she will first try to use constitutional amendment to have the president removed from office. CBS News correspondent Nancy Chen reports from New York.
Monday morning, House Democrats plan to call on Vice President Pence and President Trump's cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove him from office. If that doesn't work, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Democrats will begin impeachment efforts, accusing the president of inciting an insurrection at the Capitol. Speaker Pelosi spoke to 60 Minutes' Leslie Stahl.
Won't that take more than the 10 days? I mean, does it actually make sense?
Well, I like the 25th Amendment because it gets rid of him. He's out of office. But there is strong support in the Congress for impeaching the president a second time. This president is guilty of inciting insurrection. He has to pay a price for that.
2 Republican senators have called for the president to resign. Others want him to ride out his term until the inauguration.
My personal view is that the president touched the hot stove on Wednesday and is unlikely to touch it again.
The FBI has been using photos and video to track down those involved in the assault. Sunday, arresting 2 men who allegedly took plastic restraints into the Capitol. Eric Munchell, seen here, was arrested in Nashville. The White House lowered flags to half staff after the death of a second U.S. Capitol police officer, and police honored fallen officer Brian Sicknick with a procession near the Capitol. Nancy Chen, CBS News.
The U.S. Supreme Court has accepted Guam's case that seeks to hold the U.S. Navy accountable for their share of dumping toxic waste at Ore.Dump. AJ Levin Camacho comments this shows that the issues are significantly locally and nationally as we look forward to presenting our arguments to the court. The Supreme Court of the United States accepts less than 1% of the cases they are asked to review, or only about 70 cases out of the 7,000 to 8,000 petitions filed each term. Guam and the United States will now submit briefs on the merits of the case. Oral arguments are likely to take place in April. And in 2017, Guam sued the U.S. Navy as a potential responsible party, requesting they be held liable for remedial action under Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation, and Liability Act. The search for violent offender 18-year-old Kapich Chutaro, also known as Osama, is ongoing. The Guam Police Department issued a wanted persons flyer last week. Officers are asking for the community's help in locating the teenager. He is wanted for questioning in connection to an aggravated assault complaint. Again, he is considered armed and dangerous and should not be approached. Chutaro was last seen in the Upper Tuman area and is known to frequent the villages of Tamuning, Upper Tuman, and Jigo. Anyone with information is encouraged to call GPD dispatchers at 472-8911 or submit information anonymously at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. In Superior Court, jury selection has been completed and evidence will begin Friday morning in murder defendant Joshua Palacios' trial. Palacios is on trial for the July 2020 fatal shooting of Keith Castro that occurred inside a Jigo residence. Castro was allegedly beaten with a metal baton by Thomas Taitano, then shot to his death by Palacios. Taitano pled guilty and entered a cooperation agreement with the government. He is expected to testify in Palacios' trial. And due to COVID-19 restrictions, trial is set to take place in either the Supreme Court or the San Ramon building across the street from the Superior Courthouse. An unopposed motion to continue William Tapasis Matanonia's sentencing hearing was denied by Chief Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood. Defense counsel William Gavers filed the motion arguing it's in the best interest to have the proceedings in person, stating that witness testimony will be diminished if presented electronically. Matanonia entered a guilty plea for obstruction of justice federal charges. He was arrested alongside his brother, former GPD officer John Boom Matanonia, and former juror Greg Tidinko for conspiring to influence a jury to vote not guilty in the Raymond and Juanita Martinez drug trial case. The sentencing remains set for Wednesday, January 13th at 9:30 a.m. in person. However, only the parties and witnesses may enter the courtroom. A limited number of family members are permitted to attend. Exercise Sea Dragon is scheduled to kick off from Guam starting next week. The annual exercise brings to Guam military service members from Australia, Canada, India, Japan, and deployed U.S. Navy aircraft squadrons. Prior to arriving to Guam, the participants were under a 14-day quarantine. They then had to have a negative PCR test before arriving. And when they arrive, they undergo another 14-day quarantine, or what is called restriction of movement sequester. They are staying in local hotels and off-base activities are prohibited. And it's time for our weekly Fanatic Zoom Zone segment where Dave Delgado catches up with local NFL fans.
Dave Delgado here with this week's Fanatic Zoom Zone. My brother Alex Escaraga out in 305. Tell us when the love for your team and the Bucks first started.
Oh man, started with my dad. My dad went to school in St. Pete when he was probably a little younger than me, and ever since then, I just worked his way down the family. So since like the 70s, man. So from day one.
Game day traditions?
Oh, always barbecue, beer. That's just the norm, man. That's just the norm, barbecue and beer.
Which team do you look forward to facing every season?
Oh, it's got to be the Saints. And after tonight's win, we're seeing the Saints next week. So it's always a big division rivalry every year.
Top 2 all-time favorite players?
Bro, you got the heavy hitter, John Lynch. That man had no fear. And then we go to the offensive side. Mike Allstott ran everybody over. Nobody stood a chance. So fell in love watching those guys play back in the day.
Coming up, a look at this week's island weather. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Moss.
Thanks for the Big Mac. Yeah, thanks for driving. Wait, what are we listening to?
Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $6.
So you went to Mickey D's and didn't even... Man, that's wrong. What? You're all right.
Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $6.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
It takes all of us to protect Guam. Join the Guam Visitors Bureau in our social media campaign series aimed to protect our island and each other in this COVID-19 era. Participate in the Protect Guam movement by wearing your mask, showcasing Guam's heroes, staying active, and downloading the Guam COVID Alert app. Post and share your content with us, use the hashtag ProtectGuam, and you could win $100. It's that simple. Check out visitguam.com for details. Let's reclaim our lives, our economy, and our tourism industry.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at this week's weather forecast. Here's Landon Aidlet from the National Weather Service.
All the way to the east, that's where all those strong winds are situated across the Marshall Islands. You have Kwajalein over there on the east, and then the yellows and reds. That's approaching the dateline. Those winds are beginning to subside just a little bit, so we're going to see that special weather statement likely expire later today. Next slide, the current conditions. We are sitting right about 10 miles per hour east winds across Guam and the CNMI. Current temperature 79 degrees, and of course it's going to climb. It's going to be another warm, muggy day for us as the trade winds have subsided a little bit across the region. The rainfall, we're a little bit below normal for this time of year. We had a trace of rain yesterday. The record for the day for yesterday was 1.35 inches set in 2002. Month to date, we are at 1.25 inch, and we're again just a little bit below rainfall. Down in Micronesia again, that's where all the action's taking place. They've had over a foot of rain at both Kosrae and Pohnpei so far this month. So they are the big winners when it comes to rainfall. They've had some problems out there with the winds, the rains, and some trees coming down. I've seen photos from one of my friends at the College of Micronesia in Pohnpei last week. So they're having some heavy weather. Next slide, this is the ongoing drought situation. This is issued by the USDM, US Drought Monitor. This is on January 7th. Most locations are wet, but we are starting to dry across the region. We were able to spot a couple of wildfires in southern Guam over the last several days. Of course, man-made wildfires. And we're going to see these trends continue as the rains stay minimal across the region as we are in dry season. So as we proceed through dry season, our fire danger will gradually increase. So please, please, please do not go out there setting any fires. And if you have any fires burning, whether it's debris or you're cooking, watch it closely, especially on the windy days. And down there to the south, Kaping and Marangi, they remain in exceptional drought where they have problems, but rainfalls are gradually increasing across there, giving some minimal relief. Next slide, the sea conditions. We're looking at combined seas of 6 to 8 feet. That's a component of the east swell at 6 feet and northwest swell at 3 feet. There was a beautiful long period northwest swell yesterday seen across Tengisan and Tuman Bay areas. We're going to see that continue at least through today. Looking through the charts, not much change in the week ahead as the trade wind swell will dominate, but of course we could see a little uptick by midweek. That's going to bring our rip risk up just a little bit to high rip risk. And then in the tropics on the last slide, no tropical weather action going on right now. And finally, the last slide, you were talking about steak earlier. Do you want it all chopped or do you want it chopped by the slice? Well,
wow.
You know, as long as it's available, that's all that matters. This is one of my favorites. This is Japanese hamburger steak.
Right.
My God, since the first trip I took to Japan, I fell in love with hamburger steaks, and they do it well.
Coming up, your birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. Keep it here.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
Enjoy honey sesame chicken breast at Panda Express. Be the sweetness. Be the freshness. Be the crispy tender sesame seed perfection. That's how you find your sweet spot. Have it delivered from Panda Express today.
Micronesia Mall. Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Welcome back to the work week, and let's get your Monday started if you're in the States, or ending if you're watching us on Guam, and say happy birthday to Theo Jude Mad. Happy birthday to my boy Theo. Love Aggie, Mommy, Daddy, Brother Lucas Creed, Grandma Ann, Ma T, Grandma Trudy, and Papa Rick, and the entire family. And we got a whole bunch of belated birthday shout-outs to get to, starting with Carol Soriano, who celebrates birthday number 43 on January the 9th. Happy birthday to you, my love. Everything in this world has a limit, but my love for you is limitless. Happy birthday. Always your better half, Keith Torres, Kevin, and Keithan. Mary Keats, too, born on January 10th, gets birthday love, and happy birthday to our mother, Mary Q. May our Lord bless you on this special day. Love you from your family. Keki Tonao, happy birthday number 12 to you, and we are very proud of you, says your shout out, and the young man that you are becoming. And Pia Consuelo Weisenberger, we thank God for the beautiful young woman that you truly are. Happy birthday. We love you, say Mom, Dad, and your family.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birthday. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and be safe.
Hashtag Protect Guam is presented by Guam Visitors Bureau.
All right, Hoffy.